It's like pick up that toy and put it up on the table. All right, because we don't think about going through the transitions. We get up to go do something. Okay, so our head is on what we're going to do. Okay, so again, we don't think about that stuff. But you don't have to tell your partner anything. Your hand should tell them where to go. Okay, so again, if they're not going where you want them to, something's not quite right. All right. One question I had about righting versus protective versus equilibrium. Righting reactions are to realign the body. Okay, so that's your neck righting. So when I turn their head, they don't want to be in this rotated position. So their body's saying, fix that. So my body comes back in line with my head. Okay, so that's a righting reaction to realign my body. Okay, so again, if I put somebody up on their feet, the body says I want to be in a true vertical position. Okay, so again, it's aligning itself. All right, they can be interrupted in kids. All right, labyrinthine optical is to keep the eyes horizontal to the horizon, parallel, okay, and the head vertical, okay, against gravity. So if I have somebody prone, they should be lifting their head and looking out to the horizon, okay, barring vestibular problems or vision problems, okay, because that's a labyrinthine vestibular system, optical, vision, okay. So a blind child has not as much impulse to lift their head. And that's why when we talk about blindness, the kids get very odd head positions, all right, because they essentially turn their hearing to the primary, so they turn their head off. So, and the other thing you'll see, anybody seen Stevie Wonder play piano?
Yeah.
Does this, vestibular input. Okay, so again, using your other systems to compensate for it could be doing it to the music, but it's at a different rhythm than the music, all right? So, again, so that's labyrinthine optical writing.
Eyes to horizon, head where?
Vertical. Okay, so if I take,
Head vertical, mouth.
throw me the baby over there.
So your
Yeah, throw the baby. We won't throw the baby for real. So if I hold the baby this way, they pick their head up. Okay? If I take the baby this way and tilt them this way, if their head falls this way, there's no response. Okay? And when we talked about torticollis, guys, this is a huge driving force for lateral flexion. Okay, so that's why I use the righting reactions to get the child to do their self range of motion. All right, because if I sit there and push it, what is it doing? Just stretching, not helping them strengthen their neck. Okay, so again, it's a waste of time for me to stretch them unless I develop the strength that they need to support that head. All right?
Now I think I'm a little confused because you said that was a writing reaction.
Labyrinthine optical. Labyrinthine is because of the vestibular system. Optical is because of the vision.
So labyrinth.
So the response is the same.
But they're both writing reactions.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's what's driving what's the stimulus for the writing reaction. Labyrinthine is the inner ear. It's the vestibular system. Optical, vision. All right. Labyrinthine leads optical, but optical reinforces the writing. Plus, I see something, and I want to watch it and go get it. Okay. So again, the vision super reinforces the labyrinthine. If I can't see anything, there's no reinforcement for my looking up. That's why the kids will keep a blind child or vision problems. They'll keep their head down, even though there's this writing reaction.
One or two.
All right. All right. Protective and equilibrium is when I'm starting to talk about base of support. All right. Protective is they have to be pushed beyond their base of support. All right. And they protect. Okay. If they don't have protective, they're walking and they fall, their face or head is what's going to hit the floor. Okay, they get a concussion. All right, so those kids will be wearing helmets. Or I have a seizure disorder where I can't predict when the seizure is going to hit. Okay, so again, I have something to protect their head. All right. Equilibrium, shifting the center of gravity within the base of support. All right, kids that know they'd have poor balance, put their hands down and don't let you get there. All right, so again, they're gonna say, I know this doesn't work for me, I fall down. So if I stabilize on the surface, I don't have to worry about this, okay? So they might run along the side of the wall and like lean into the wall, okay? Now I don't have to balance at all, all right? So again, you'll see funny things when they know their equilibrium. Now, can the kid say, my balance is off? No, not necessarily, all right? Okay, any other questions or issues?
Lack of equilibrium reactions, that'll be like what they get the walls. Because they're not
They actually just lean into the wall, so they don't even need to use their balance reactions. Okay. Kids on therapy balls put their hands down on the surface and will not pick them up. So I can't get into equilibrium at that point. So again, we do things like put your hands on your head, all right, or mess up my hair. So I'll be in front of the kid and I'll say, mess up my hair for me, and I'm in the meantime doing equilibrium. Okay. So again, I keep them from like eliminate the need for equilibrium by putting their hands on the surface. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you crawling on belly. Okay. Which this is crawling, right? And the other one's creeping, but no lay person knows what the heck you're talking about. So it's belly crawling versus 4-point crawling. Okay? And then I don't have to explain it to anybody. I can put it in my reports. Nobody asks questions. All right? Creeping and crawling, because I honestly think this is creeping and the other one's crawling. So we'll just get beyond all that. All right? Now, we facilitated rolling, so it's almost like rolling. All right? But I have to have an input to say go forward. Okay? Now, usually I don't have to work backwards because they get that one. All right, because remember I said pushing backwards is easier. All right, so essentially I'm going to roll her. Now what I want her to do is to get more leg flexion. So for her, so you can do it from that side. Thank you. That's crazy. All right. So it's the same thing. We're shifting the weight. Okay. So I unweight one leg, and I get an equilibrium response with this leg. Okay. And then I need to get her to push with this leg and come out. All right. So I'm getting her weight bearing on this knee and pushing forward. Okay. Now, from her hips didn't work. She went with like my kids with extensor tone, who crawl like this. And their little legs are stiff as boards. All right, so again, I really want to facilitate flexion and that pushing of that surface. Okay, so come on back. Now that you know what I want you to do, we'll do it from your hips. All right. Here we go. So I'm alternating. Okay. Notice I'm swaying with her. I'm not going like this. Okay. See how it changed in quality? Versus if I'm moving with her. Okay. Because again, my body's saying stay still. Versus when I'm moving with her, it's saying moving. Okay. Yep. It's on glutes. All right. So here and here. So am I essentially integrate? Not really even integrated trochanter. I'm almost thinking of ischial tuberosities. Okay. But I need to facilitate her laterally, which then I'm going to need a little bit of glute medius to abduct this leg. Okay, and to then push off of this surface. Okay, so I need glute medius. Okay.
What if they just won't flex?
Then I go to the feet.
Where you force them to.
Yeah. Or I could go above the knees. I could do it that way. But usually from the feet works. All right. Now, I'm not torquing her knees, guys. All right. Again, I need to get the impulse all the way up to the hip because that's what needs to move. All right. Everybody got it? So essentially I got this lateral, I'm rolling her, but I'm not torquing her knee. Okay, this is not mobilization of the knee. Okay, or testing cruciates. Okay, Lockman's, whatever, McMurray's, all that kind of stuff. No. All right? I don't think you do any in full extension anyway. All right? So again, I'm thinking about shifting her weight up there. All right, so the impulse is up to there first, which is the weight shift. Okay? But she's not going to go anywhere if I don't give her a forward impulse. Okay? All right, everybody good?
So it's almost opposite as far as distal to proximal. The more distal you are, the more remedial it is. Is that, would you say it that way, or?
The more distal I go, the more work she has to do.
Okay, but it also is a technique to teach them what you want them to do, right?
For this.
You know what I mean? Because she didn't understand what you wanted her to do.
Her body likes extension. She just has a bias toward extension. Other people, I go to the hips and I'm not going to have that issue.
Okay,
Or her, like somebody, Risha. When somebody went to her shoulders, the technique didn't work at all, okay? Because there's some less connection from here to here.
okay.
So again, you can't go to that point. So again, you try it, doesn't work, try a different hand placement. But always think about what muscles are you looking at.
So this one isn't like the facilitation techniques in far as proximal is easier, or proximal is you have more control, they have less control?
They have to do less. I'm still always thinking about them having some control. It's just how much of their body do they have to control.
So with
Changes.
the feet, they have to control more. Okay.
I can only do so much from down there. I can't be pushing all their body weight up. If they're not active, okay? So just one more technique. If they're really having trouble pulling forward, okay, then I'm going to be over their upper extremities, okay? So again, this would be proximal for the upper extremities, correct? Okay, so it's really the function is to pull with their upper extremity, okay? All right, so now I'm more over deltoid. You could be under pecs if you wanted, okay?
If they want us to face that.
Sure, yeah. Again, weight shift or reach forward. Same concepts, okay? Okay? So when you guys do competencies, you're not going to be allowed to tell your partner what you're doing. Because I want to see what your hands are telling your partner to do. But I do not do that to my clients. Most of us say we're going to go somewhere. We're going to get up. I don't say we're going to go prone to sitting to quadruped to half kneeling to standing. We're getting up to that table. All right, let's go. All right, so again, I don't give them all the details, and they're like, who cares? I want to play. All right, but my notion is to go through these transitions. Okay, so on your own, I know this was a question from the other room, you should be able to take them through. Okay, I mean, I can show that, but I think you guys could figure it out. All right, comments I've been giving, too much assistance. You are not lifting people. All right, if you're grabbing their greater trochanter and picking them up to standing, not the technique. All right, lighten it up. For us, it's going to be a very light pressure. For the kids with neurological problems, it's going to be a whole lot heavier. Okay, so again, just as much as you need to tell them where to go. All right, so for us, it's very light. All right, crawling on fours. I'm sure I can take you up. Okay, so crawling. Needs a weight shifter.
And that's creeping if you're documenting.
I said to them to just. It is technically, but I told them put belly crawling or crawling on fours.
Okay, but if you're using an assessment choice,
It may say creeping.
but tell
Okay.
them this is creeping, it's not crawling.
Right. We already went through that conversation. But the parents think that you're talking about when you say creeping, they think on the belly. No parent thinks, they think crawling is on fours. So again, that's why I just don't get into the confusion of what's creeping and what's crawling.
So if you use slightly, but when you're doing an assessment tool, that's when.
Yeah.
So, but when you're in the home and talking to parents, stick with 4.5.
Yeah. All right. So again, we've gone from sitting to quadruped, and you can immediately go into crawling. Okay. I can also, it's a weight shift, always. Oh yeah. Because again, what's going to happen with crawling, guys? Now I need to have both glutes. All right, whichever side I'm going to, the glutes have to support. I can't be shooting side to side on this. Okay, so this is where having your hand laying across both for the adult is important. Okay? All right?
So you can do abs glutes or glutes glutes, and all you're doing is facilitating the weight shift, and they should be able to.
But it's not just a weight shift. If I just weight shift her, okay, all I get is a weight shift. All right? Has to have an impulse to go forward. All right? Alright, now kids, as soon as you bring your toe to surface. Now she, because we've been working on quad to half kneel, she's like, okay, half kneel you want me to do. But kids want to climb. So again, I'm going to teach them how to climb. Alright, but it's the same movements, it's just a little bit more extreme than you're crawling. Okay? Alright? Sorry to make it. I wanted you to try to do it for me to get it without me telling you what you needed to do. So again, all right, we got there. All right, because her impulse is not to climb up on the mat. Kids' impulse, you bring them there. As soon as you get to here, trying to climb up.
So is that
all right?
something we would have to do on top of zero practical, like having them crawl and getting them to climb without telling them?
You don't have to do climbing for competency.
Okay.
I haven't had many students do that. It's an option. You could teach them how to climb. But it's the same. But it's honestly the same thing as crawling. I just have to get a more extreme equilibrium response. Okay? So again, it's exactly the same thing. All right? At Aller Glutes. And Chris, I want you to do gait so that we can have split the group up. People that stay in here will do crawling stuff. Okay? Creeping, crawling, whatever we want to call it. And then gait will be out in the hallways, and you'll have to do a loop. All right? So again, so we maximize the space. All right? Okay? But again, if I just give her this impulse, okay? So again, I have to push her forward and weight shift, okay? Now one thing I saw on the filling in the form sheets, okay? Where the weight bearing surface is for crawling. Okay, if you're going fast enough, how many points are on the floor? Two. Only two. I need essentially a diagonal weight shift. Okay, across the body line. All right? Okay, come on back. For somebody that's having trouble with weight bearing on their upper extremities, we haven't talked about CP yet, but athetoid CP have trouble with weight bearing on their upper extremities. Okay, I'm weight shifting her and giving her an impulse forward, but I can control the triceps. Okay, and ask that to start working. All right? So for that athetoid kid, this is the proximal hand placement. Distal, distal. Okay, so that's your progression for somebody that's having trouble with their upper extremities.
Can you show the distal ones again for the upper extremities? I just write it down.
Abdominals and glutes, and bilateral glutes.
Okay.
I could also go to the feet. Okay? guys, I don't think about, am I getting right leg forward, right left hand forward? I don't think about that so much. I'm thinking about more the weight shift and getting them to go forward. They'll slowly develop the asymmetrical pattern that they need for crawling. All right. Before this is the way the kids may have crawled. Okay. For the athetoid, they're like this, and that's in W sit. Okay. Yeah. Ow. Or the kids with CP. That's bunny hopping. Yes. Okay. So you can see why when I want to facilitate, looks like a bunny, right?
I was wondering how we were doing that.
All right. Everybody good with that? Yes. Athetoid CP is they have, remember I talked about athetosis in ENF? Beautiful dance movements, but no volitional control. Okay, so they're doing this thing, and they can't stabilize in mid-range. So crawling is about the most nightmarish control position for them. Okay? All right. Chris? Gate? Yep, absolutely. So this way they can do both activities.